I am going to talk to you about one of the arguably most important concepts in cybersecurity. It's the CIA Triad. Now, I'm a cybersecurity consultant at one of the big fours, and I can stress to you how important the CIA Triad is. If you have never heard about the CIA Triad before, when I first learned it, I always thought that the CIA is about, the CIA, FBI from America. But when you step into cybersecurity, you will learn that the CIA Triad is the following. It's basically, imagine a triangle. You have C, I, A. C standing for confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. Now, before you click off, because you expected that I was going to teach you some super cool cybersecurity hacking technique, bear with me because this lays the foundation of every single, if not cybersecurity, framework, policy, technique, and methodology when it comes to actually securing your information systems. Now let's go through each one by one. Now when it comes to confidentiality, I want you to imagine that you are basically trying to ask yourself the question, who can access the information, right? That is perhaps a simple way to learn it. When it comes to integrity, you're basically asking for, is it authentic? And when it comes to availability, you are asking, is it accessible? Now already, by highlighting those questions, you can kind of understand the picture on what each of these components of the CIA Triad actually means, right? Confidentiality, who are the right people authorized to actually access the specific type of information. Integrity, is it actually verified? Is there a digital signature? And availability, is it access? Are these servers down? Are they up? Are there any issues when I actually want to read the file? Now those are very simple examples, but I believe to even make it easier for you, let me get my eraser. One of the best ways I can perhaps teach you about the CIA Triad is by giving you a very simple example. Okay? I want you to imagine, well, that probably might be the case right now, that this is you, right? This is you. And you, whoopsies, and you are a student and you go to so-called a university, right? The majority of us have been to a apologies for my drawing. The majority of us have been to a university and we know how it goes, right? You basically go there, you enroll to whatever university you're enrolled at, and you take so-called exams, right? Just imagine that this is an exam. Not sure if you can see this. Right. Now let's remember the CIA Triad for a moment. CIA. Now with this example, visualize the following. You are a student and you are at a university and you are about to take the exam. Now the first thing what you do is when you take the exam, you literally on the exam venue, you have to verify yourself, right? You have a student ID, you have maybe a student card, which is basically the same thing. Maybe you wear a uniform. Maybe you have, I don't know, a specific badge. Now, before you take the exam, what you are essentially doing is you are trying to verify yourself. Verify yourself. And so when you verify yourself, you are basically authorizing. Like, are you a student? Are you the person authorized to take the exam? Right? Because your identity is essentially a student. In cybersecurity, there are all sorts of different types of identities. Right? There's so many different types of identities that admin, there's security admin, there's privileged admin, there's accounts reader, there's security operator. There's, I believe in Microsoft alone, there's at least 130 different types of identities. But just to keep the example simple, understand that your identity is a student, right? And so what happens is you essentially authorize yourself, right? You authorize yourself by providing the correct credentials, right? You prove you're with your ID card, you have a uniform, or perhaps you brought, I don't know, your passport, dependingly. So you verify yourself, right? So essentially you have you are authorized to take the exam, right? So technically you already checked the first area of the CIA triad. The next step when you take the exam is to understand that when you take the exam, let's say you're a math student, right? You go to the exam hall expecting that you will take a maths exam, right? Well, there are other students in the exam hall that might take an economics exam, or an English exam, or a science exam. But you, as a student, you are supposed to take the maths exam, right? And we want to make sure that the maths exam is only authorized to you. It is only authorized to you. And so what we do is we basically talk about the idea of confidentiality, right? Because if you're able to access the maths exam and you authorize yourself, then you have to make sure that only you have access to the math exam and nobody else. The English students are doing the English exams, the science students are doing the science exams, etc., etc., right? And so when it comes to confidentiality, there are certain ways for you to verify, right? For example, you as a student, coming back to the ID, you basically prove, whether it's, I don't know, a student number, that you are the one doing the maths exam. While this example is a little bit harder to explain, what I can basically showcase you is that we can basically encrypt it, right? Just imagine that you are encrypting your exam, so that is only for you. Now, obviously, physical exams at university, you don't really encrypt it, but just bear with me that you are basically the one doing the exam is locked, and essentially you are the one who has the key that can only do maths exam, all right? And this key is essentially unique to you, right? So just imagine encryption. I'll write this down, even though it's not entirely accurate, but just bear with me. Okay. Now, the final component of the CIA triad is integrity, right? Let's say you are a student, you are confirmed, you can access the maths exam, and you are confidential in the sense that only you access the math exam. Now, the next question is, we want to prove to you that the maths exam is actually a maths exam. Even though the cover says at the top, this is a maths exam, we need to make sure that the content inside is maths. We need to make sure that there are numbers, equations, and all of those mathematical stuff. And so what we do is we basically prove its integrity. Okay? Its authenticity, integrity. Now, in cybersecurity, the way we prove our integrity is using digital signatures, is using perhaps security labels, is using, what else? Hashing signatures. Now, there are different ways to prove integrity, but understand that in order for you to prove integrity, you have to basically show that the exam is authentic, that it's truly a maths exam. And so one of the only ways to do that in cybersecurity are the markers that I mentioned. But to further prove the integrity, you literally need to open it up. So essentially, you basically have to go through the content of the mathematics exam to further prove that this is a legitimate maths exam. Okay? Now that we have understand the CIA Triad, I hope you guys have a better understanding of what it actually is and what it means, and how you as a cybersecurity professional will implement the CIA Triad on an everyday basis. If you guys enjoyed the video, do subscribe, do like the video. It means everything to me. If you have any question, or if there are certain ways I didn't really explain properly, then do ask me in the comments. I could further elaborate. And otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.